Great.
Yep.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen, I'll call this regular board meeting of the Reach-Fork School District 105 to order. Have a quorum. And would you all please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Gonna ask just a little bit of something from you all in the audience this evening. I'm gonna go off of the agenda for a second, and I'm just gonna ask you all to give our band teacher, Larry Davis Surratt, a moment of silence, please, for. Thank you very much. That guy, I hung around with him a lot in some places we won't talk about, but that guy was so excited about being a music teacher in Reedsburg. I'm so excited. We jam up with Coach Folks as he had a band up there, and we take a couple of guitars and we get it right in the middle of the song. All of a sudden he just stop and say, "God, isn't it great? We're getting the pep band back and their kids are doing so well." So bless him. Okay. Changes to the agenda?
Do you have a revised agenda tonight?
Oh, yes, I do. Okay. Now to the best part of the evening. Superintendent's activity.
So each month, we have the opportunity to celebrate some of the great students that we have in the Reedsburg School District. And I try to emphasize how important these awards are, but the fact that teachers only get to have one of these all year. So they have to pick the right student. And we know that students are a product of home. And so part of our appreciation of what student work is acknowledgement of the families that they have at home supporting them. Let's start off with Riker and his teacher, Mrs. Deany.
He's a little shy. So contrary to what it looks like tonight at school, he's lovely and bright and he's so friendly but he's a little guy, so we're gonna let him sit with mom. He's just a little shy with all the people around. But
Riker, I got something here for
he's
you.
got a really cool certificate. You wanna look at your certificate? Not yet? Okay. Okay, so my letter says to the parents of Riker Cooper, I am proud to nominate Riker Cooper as the Superintendent Award recipient in kindergarten for November 2024. Every once in a while, you have a young student start school and you just know that you want to connect with that student and be their teacher. Riker is one of those kids. He came to school with a big smile, a positive attitude, and a zest that just brought joy to my heart. I'm stuck crying. Okay, although his parents may not believe me when I tell them how wonderful he is at school, I can assure them that they are doing a great job raising Riker. Riker is respectful and kind, has a positive attitude, is well-mannered, attentive on most occasions, friendly with all his peers, and gives great effort in the classroom. I cannot begin to tell you how many times I've heard a please and a thank you come from Riker. His manners extend from me to the lunch ladies, and it warms my heart hearing him be so respectful to our staff and myself. Riker is very helpful. Most days he asks if he can help me wipe the tables off at the end of the day, helps tidy up our classroom, and assists others with anything I ask him to. And a little off this letters, today one of our kiddos was struggling getting his backpack packed, and Riker comes over and bends down and says, "Can I help you?" Just so sweet. Riker is a great friend. He checks on his classmates when he notices they may be hurt or sad. He is caring and has a positive attitude toward all his classmates. He sets an example for them to be good learners by modeling good learning behavior. Riker, I'm so proud of you for adapting to school so well. It can be hard leaving our families and starting school. Even more of a challenge when most of our friends that you know are in a different class. But you have not let any of that discourage you. Cooper family, be proud of the son you are raising. I know he will continue his school journey with much more success to come.
Thank you for your reading. All right. Go on, Rich. Let's go to Corbin and his teacher, Mr. Francis. Yeah, sir. Come on, Corbin.
Come on up, man. This will be good. So the parents, Corbin LeVar, adversity is a state of serious or continued difficulty or misfortune. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties by having toughness. Corbin has experienced this in Fort Charter. He arrived back in late August and expressed gratitude for being enrolled in a robotics class. Always the first to volunteer, to help others out, and lead by example. I told his folks on parent teacher night that more Corbin clones are a great thing to have at Reedsport. Since then, we've lost some folder contents and we've had some vehicle mishaps, but I assured Corbin that the work can be replaced and it would just take a little bit more time for him to bounce back and get back with the class. In fact, he's made things better than the first round. So Corbin has attended after-school tutoring and has endured other endeavors to keep up with work and replace the old. As the months have progressed, Corbin has flashed creativity and helpfulness with altering autonomous vehicles. The goal would be to perform a variety of tasks that are adaptable to real-life situations, hauling supplies, moving through obstructions, driving up and down elevation, and progressing through checkpoints. The class is excited to perform tasks with their vehicles and to showcase their talents to a larger audience once their creations are fine-tuned. My hope in writing this letter and presenting this award is to share a brief snapshot of Corbin's story through my eyes, and what a pleasure it's been to have him in my wheel class. I appreciate his hard work and determination as we continue this journey together to both learn and work towards proficiency in this mechanical and digital language. And I have a poem for you to be able to read. So I'll save that for you. It's important to note that while Corbin may feel overwhelmed to perform at the highest level, I believe he possesses the strength to achieve greatness. And he always ends things with, sir, yes, sir. And it's just warms my heart being former military. So to the LeVars, thank you for sharing your son with us at Reedsport Charter, and wish fortune and progress upon him. Sincerely, Mike Francis, math, robotics, computer science, PE teacher, and general studies. Okay, well done.
And Adam, teacher, Mrs. Schoolio.
I've lost my voice and I'm usually the biggest crier, but I think I have the second. So I get emotional, but Mr. Jones is fine in this one.
No big words, right?
I don't think Thanksgiving is the biggest.
Oh, geez.
Okay. To the parents of Adam Mead, I am thrilled to share that Adam Mead has been selected as my student of the month for November. Adam joined the culinary experience class as a freshman last year, arriving a few weeks late due to illness. When he first came to class, He was quiet, reserved, and didn't show much interest in trying the dishes we were preparing. I made an effort to help him catch up and get familiar with the kitchen and our routines, but he remained mostly silent. However, he consistently showed up on time, participated, and followed instructions. So fast forward to after Thanksgiving break. During a class discussion about their favorite part of Thanksgiving, Adam just shrugged his shoulders at the question. When I asked if he had turkey or ham, he replied he had cereal. Without hesitation, I asked what kind, and he said Cinnamon Toast Crunch. When I inquired if it was his favorite, he simply said, "It is this week." I was delighted to engage in a conversation with him that I could have talked about cereal for ages. That moment opened the door to discovering Adam's witty and subtle sense of humor, which has had me cracking up daily. I realized he was a bit shy and had a very simple palate. As time went on, Adam became more comfortable in class. He started washing his hands and putting away dishes without prompting. If we had extra time at the end of class, he was eager to help with sweeping, wiping down the counters, and recycling. He prefers to stay active and engaged. I was pleasantly surprised when Adam signed up for culinary class again this year. It brings me great joy to see him take on a leadership role in this class. I can count on him to complete tasks as requested, which is invaluable in the kitchen. And I'm proud to be his teacher, and he truly is a wonderful addition to our class. Sincerely, Norris School. Dylan?
Sorry, which teacher that? Yes, she's not here, sorry, I texted you. I just got a message that they won't be here tonight.
With the three students, hopefully Riker and their teachers come up, we'll get a quick photo of all of our superintendent award winners.
Yeah.
I think I could listen in and catch themes, and valuable additions in the classroom was one that's popping up for me this week. So, and Riker,
If we can stand around you.
that's okay.
Mom can take you up there for a picture. No, you're okay, all right, no problem. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I wasn't even ready. Okay, you guys scoot in just a little bit more, and everybody look at me, happy faces. I take a few, because sometimes your eyes are closed, and mom wants to see you smile. All right, good. Thank you.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Okay, move on to community comments.
I'm looking. Don't see any in the video.
I just got handed one.
Oh, right.
This is to all who are concerned and represent our community and students on this issue. I support joining the State Board Pride Caucus to support a safe space for all students. And that is signed Christine Thomas. And we'll make sure that we keep that on top of the list. And there was no other community comments.
There was none in the box when I went out there.
Thank you, sir. Report. Start out with the assistant business manager, Josh Cook.
Yes, so in your financial statements, every month I've been trying to include something a little different for you guys. This month I did a quarter one report that should be in there. It basically summarizes our first quarter, July through September, and also compares it to last year's. There's a lot of variables, right? But in there, you can see that our revenues are a little higher than last year and our expenses are a little lower. So for the first quarter, we're off to, what looks like a better start than last year. Which is great because we have had to change our estimate of membership. We have had to drop, membership. And so, it'll be good going into the year when we start to get some of those updated revenue estimates. Do you have any questions? Did you guys receive the quarter one? Do you have any questions regarding it or any of the financials?
Nope, it was kind of nice to have.
There was a recent, I just caught briefly, recent, news article about the increases that from the state are pretty much gonna be taken up by PERS payments in the next 2 years. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we are looking at a PERS increase. I don't have the numbers on me, but I believe Reedsport is looking at about a 6% increase in PERS. Every district's a little bit differently, but basically it's the state trying to keep up with PERS. We paid out a lot of people in the beginning, a lot of money. And so to make
That
up
was the
for it,
schedule, that was the scheduled state fund increase or what? I guess that not understanding the balance between the two.
between the state school fund and PERS,
Or
Yeah, the governor last year worked out a increase, I think it was $550 million to the state school fund by readjusting how the formula is examined and a couple factors. I believe the total PERS increases statewide is to the tune of $670 million. So all of the gain that we got in progress made in calculating the formula is negated by the PERS cost. I think is the point of that article.
Any questions for Josh?
No, you're good.
Bullet point one.
I thought this would be a discussion. So,
Talk about it, basically discuss it.
yeah, you have been also, you should have received a draft for a RFP for transportation. This is mostly complete. There are things in there that we still have to, I need to work on the district with, such as fleet size and stuff like that. I don't know that
Mentioned like
fleet size,
Oh.
but amount of buses, stuff like that. And there was some liability stuff that I've been in touch with our insurance guy on his recommendations. Those will be updated. And then, of course, we'd love the board's input on many of the topics in there. It's a pretty lengthy, I think about 60 pages.
The areas that need finalizing are highlighted yellow, I believe.
Some are still highlighted yellow. There's a couple that might not be, dates aren't finalized until we settle on a timeline. I have put a timeline in there, but there's gonna be dates that we need to make sure we can all get together on and everything like that. There is at least a timeline to give you an idea of how it would look.
The chance for the board to look at where we have a draft to weigh in during your discussion portion of the meeting on what you have so far, and then puts us in line to put it back on the agenda for your December meeting, hopefully in its final form with whatever recommendations and elements need to be completed with RFP.
What are the required standards that we're held to when we receive bids? Is it simply a number? Or do we get to make some subjective choices when we're deciding
The
the
bid,
districts?
yeah, you don't have to look at who gives the cheapest bid. You need to look at the overall bid as a package and can consider factors outside of just what is the bottom line dollar
Okay.
cost. And each bid package kind of stand on its own merits for what it brings for the district to consider.
And there's a scoring tool in there. That highlights the things that we would score the bidders on.
When I was looking through this, and I was trying to coordinate, because none of the pages here are numbered.
Not yet, no,
No, and I couldn't, nothing jived with the table contents.
sorry, no.
Draft.
Yeah, I was trying to just formatting it took me a full day. So yes, I probably should have put the page numbers in there, but also fixing it to turn around and redo the table of contents. Every revision I make takes a lot of work.
Okay, well, that kind of explains, that gives that answer.
That template came from a different RFP or a different district to use. And that was not, I mean, the document that was a clear representation of what we needed in the Reed's board draft. So working through a boilerplate template, used what are the requirements we have to have in an RFP we have to ask for, and then how do we customize it so that it fits a small school district in a rural location and some of the access that we'll have, because we're not going to need the same things that might come out of Portland Public's transportation. They might have the legal elements we needed to capture. We needed to revise quite a bit of document to fit Reed's needs for transportation.
I noticed that this was something from a different district.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's some of that cleanup stuff, but the table of contents will be the last thing you touch.
Yeah.
If you did it every time you made a change, you constantly touching your table and
Do you know how much time I spent in kind of coordinate that?
Somebody's already got it formatted for you. so-
No, I was scribbling numbers on the pages and thinking, wait a minute, that doesn't work. I've been trying to.
It's thumbs off it and you all your pages.
No.
So when a company puts a bid in for a bid in for this RFP, they work with you on extrapolating the data from our district into their proposal, or how does, I guess, how does that work?
The proposal should have all the information
Okay,
in.
so just the blank spots I'm seeing is where there will.
When we ask a company to provide numbers of buses and numbers of routes, we need to have clarity on exactly what buses we need to service the routes we have. So a bid coming in needs to address our needs for the routes and buses. We want to ensure we don't miss anything in setting up this RFP. So we will provide the numbers needed for a vendor to submit.
It's close to like the last 10 pages or so is what the people putting in the bid will be filling out.
Yeah, we would be doing the scoring.
We'd be doing scoring.
Do we have a current contract?
Current, yes.
I mean, as a board had seen that current contract that we have now, the existing contract that we have.
We can get one brought in for the December meeting for you.
Okay.
Any other questions for Josh? Let me take Jack's calls. I haven't heard you speak the whole thing. I just wondered.
No, I don't want to start.
Okay, we'll get you something you can dwell on there in a second. All right, no questions. Thank you, Josh. Superintendent report.
A couple of quick items. November, December are the two past months. I call them the visible months. Got about 12 school days respectively. And to put the next 2 months of school in perspective to the board, there's 18 school days between now and January 6th. I mean, there's more time off than there is on in the next 2 weeks. So things happen quickly and it's going to be a little slower. At the elementary school, we are working with kids actively about a culture of attendance and student learning. We want to set the tone every day for them coming in to great student learners during the day. We have staff that are working very hard to be prepared for them, and we want students to be ready for those staff's best work. On the bright side of what's happening, there is a movie night coming up Friday, and they're doing a cereal drive. If proceeds will go to the food bank here, but all those cereal boxes that they collect turn into a giant Domino's game one time before they get donated. At the high school, since they've enacted their ICU homework alert program, they've had over 700 assignments completed. A high degree of when notified, students and families are getting on it and work is getting turned in. On Monday at the high school, there's going to be an anti-bullying guest speaker. It was going to be yesterday. There were some travel issues for the presenter, so it has been moved to Monday. We're going to follow the same time schedule, which is going to have the Highland 5th and 6th graders over first, and then the other 6th grades, high school students throughout the remainder of the day will get a chance to see the presentation.
She said Monday.
Monday, the 18th,
At the high school,
at the high school, the whole civic auditorium,
so all grades.
grades 5, 6 of Highland, and then all the grades of the high school.
Okay, thank you. That was in the wrong spot.
4 sessions, yeah, well, and I apologize to the board. I heard about the change in the evening and didn't alert you, and then the next you showed up.
It wouldn't have mattered. I didn't look.
The winter sports season will start on Monday as well. On the maintenance front, we have a heating coil in the elementary school between the library and the music room. It's out, it's leaking, and it's not heating those rooms. The initial estimate, and we're seeking more, is to be about $30,000 replacement for that piece. We're considering mini splits in the estimate because if mini splits will work at the same price and perhaps could be individually replaced in the future. That's something we're considering, but getting additional quotes right now between the library and the music room. And we've got 4 classrooms, primarily special ed, in that hallway right now, and the music room at the end. So it's the little kid playground.
5 spaces.
5 classrooms, 1 office. Yeah. Yeah, so we're seeking quotes on that and considering maybe mini splits if that will price out better or at least comparably for down the road, in which case we'll just cap off that particular part of the system. That may be something we have to do as any parts go out in the future, as you consider it options besides just replacing it, things like mini split. So that's superintendent report. There's other pieces here when you're ready. On the agenda.
Good.
Okay. So between now and December 15th, the school board has the opportunity and probably the obligation to do some voting for OSBA, Oregon School Board Association. There is some election items to vote on, and there are 3 proposals that were brought forward at the road show. Carrie Oldright, Paulini, and Jack attended the roadshow about 2 weeks ago at ESD, you were able to hear about those resolutions there. I don't believe you got to hear about the candidates for election. So, the opportunity tonight would be to complete all your voting. If you want to stretch it out to your December board meeting, that's December 11th. And since they're due December 15th, you could theoretically get it done. We could cast it out next day. You vote as a board on each item, and that's submitted on your behalf by Sherman Tipton. So you don't vote individually on each resolution and each vote one time as a board on each of those pieces. There's 2 board of director positions for the Douglas and South Coast. And then there are 3 resolutions on the OSBA dues schedule, OSBA Pride Caucus, and some amendments to the OSBA bylaws. And those are all contained in your package. If you're going to do a vote, conduct that as a part of your action. So it's on the record as what the vote looks like as you proceed. Any questions on that portion?
John, what are we paying now for dues?
I don't have that. I don't have that number in front of me, but at the end of 5 years, this new due schedule would just over double cost by the end of 5th year. And it would increase the revenues from all people paying dues to OSBA significantly. And yeah, they're doubling in 5 years. That's a lot.
We better than Delby.
I want to say it was like, went from 1,000 to 2,000. I think it, after 5 years, and it was based on number of students. I mean,
Okay, I wondered if that's what that was
Yeah.
based on students. Okay,
I don't have that sheet.
it's right here. Oh, there, I think so, yeah.
Yes, it's based on our APM. Currently, we're about 550. We report 590 to the state. Yes.
Right.
That slip packet that we got, Bonnie,
Mhm.
it was one of the pages in there.
We get a number of two in the middle line items. So this is what. So we would come in,
You know, if they're hearing.
we would be a District 3 member.
Oh, gosh, thank you.
There's your.
Do we, normally get information, from the rural districts caucus that they put together at OSBA?
They are a new organization. I'd say we get information more from OSBA as a whole. But when anything does come out from rural caucus and would be included in that, haven't sent a lot out.
I don't know, I think you have to sign up for their emails. But you have to request that, because they're not gonna just
Well,
spam.
when I called to inquire about it, because we weren't getting any information on through our emails, the girl in the office told me I had to contact our district secretary.
Okay.
So,
Did you do that?
what?
I said, did you do that?
Yeah, that's why I figured this up to John, because, you know, they're sort of like,
You want to start receiving those
they're
emails?
sort of like the ESP, we never hear from them unless it's bad news.
Do you want to sign up on that list, Gary?
Yeah,
And
And that's going through the same process right now. So there's I think the color caucus already exists. The Pride Caucus has been going through a 2-year process to, vet themselves and become a member. And then the next one will be the rural schools caucus, and that will be, they're sort of going through the process at this point. So we'll vote on it, I think, next year
No,
for
I thought-
rural.
I thought we already did.
Well, there might have been an initial vote to establish.
There's a
What's
two-year
what
trial
they call the
period.
difference between, it's like a trial period where they get everything established, get their
It's-
bylaws written, get everything kind of in working order to become a caucus.
It's a
And
proposed
then,
caucus, and they go through that. Sits out of period,
and then you get a member on the board, the state board, correct?
OSBA board.
Right.
Yeah.
And the OSBA board obviously designs and moderates their budget and their policies, so.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on the OSBA resolutions or election?
Do we want to?
Well, I was thinking, I was gonna ask if, our next December meeting would be, all right, for everybody to, I'd like to research some of those resolutions will be for, what I got packing.
Have an executive meeting and do it.
Pardon?
Have a, do the vote count, I mean,
Yeah,
and an executive meeting.
no, we'll do an open meeting on the 11th of December. So, that's okay with everybody.
And then I have some information, just kind of informational piece to pass along.
Okay.
And we'll discuss later, right?
Last month, you started a discussion about considering 3 policies, one of which was considering the potential of a policy regarding cell phones. Since then, you've had a work session and spent time planning your listening sessions, which I'll talk about later. Since then, the Oregon Department of Education has come out with some guidance, cell phone policy. Making cell phone policies. I noticed a striking similarity between their guidance and what happens at the high school already. But I wanted to make sure that you have that guidance in front of you. And there are hyperlinks embedded in that material, so if you want that email, you can get into some of those hyperlinks and drill down further into what ODE has shared with you.
Is that guidance in our current handbooks?
It's not really guidance. Our policy is very simple.
Is
It is very
our
similar.
procedures in the
Yeah.
handbook? Okay.
Yeah, the high school and Jerry have it set up very similarly, so there wouldn't be a whole lot of change. But as far as the guidance that's there, this is, ODE does not make policy, does not direct districts to make policy, but it will give guidance based on best practices or rules and laws that pertain to a particular subject. It will never tell a district exactly how to do it. And sometimes that gets a little frustrating, but other times it does allow for local boards to have control of the specific outcomes. So there's a little give and take out there. Any questions about?
Well, I was looking through this, from the ODE on the guidance here. And it talks about addressing the liability risk for theft, loss, damage. And to be clear on how school cell phone policies intersect and align with existing personal property rules. What are those existing personal property rules?
If you bring $1,000 cell phone into the school, and it's your personal property, we took it away, that could be a criminal action. That there is a element of devices belong to a family, student, so the rules that pertain would need to be considerate of that. And you wouldn't take it and break it because that's somebody's $1,000 investment. So personal property rules.
If they weren't on school grounds at all, we wouldn't have that issue.
I don't know, I think sometimes we have to surgically remove them for some teenagers. They're,
No, I'm just gonna bring it back. Throw them on the desk, or throw them on the bed.
yeah.
That's probably even.
It is, I know we have parents who rely on accessing their children and want to know where their kids are at, if their kids are safe after school. And so leaving them at home isn't always the option. There's a lot of trick in this. Lots of, the more responsibility we take in controlling it, and indirect responsibility we take for what happens to it. We take it away and put it in the office. I fear dropping those things.
Yeah. Or they drop it on the way home and tell mom that's where they found it.
Sure. So there is some responsibility in the school, and you have to be careful of that. Each of those things is a $1,000 bill.
Current, procedures working well.
I believe when we listened last month, we didn't hear that the high school was concerned with, it simply requires the enforcement at the classroom levels. I think there was a larger concern brought from outside the high school staff. I don't think the high school staff shared the level of concern. Check me if I'm wrong.
Well, there's not a problem. There's not, there's no issue. Maybe you can just kind of better see how it goes.
Is it worth adding the Oregon Department of Education policy guidance just in conjunction with ours, or does that create any conflicts? It's, theirs is a recommendation or a guidance,
I
so.
think if you post a guidance document right alongside your procedural rule, they're gonna be scrutinized for differences. And if people can read and understand that the procedure is what's followed and the guidance is simply a framework of suggestions that could be incorporated, that's fine. But if people read it, well, the ODE says you have to do it this way, and your policy says this, your procedure says this, then you might have to help that person
I don't
understand.
read anything in this that says you're supposed to do it this way.
Yeah,
It
ODE
reads
doesn't
more
address
as, these are the reasons why we recommend having policy that
Yeah.
limits exposure during class time.
An ODE doesn't take a stance of
Right.
this is what to do, but post it side by side, depending on the person reading and comparing, you might create an issue for yourselves. It just takes extra time to explain to help the person understand that, our procedures what we follow, right? This is simply an umbrella that helps us get to the place we're at. I don't know if it confuses the point or makes it better.
They do mention deep thinking, so, that might be needed.
And number 3, John, are you gonna address that one?
So in your packet is the list of staff who participated and completed the 100% completion in the American Association of School Customer Service course. They completed 6 hours of training in customer service so that as we receive people, deal with people, especially members of the community, parents, families, we just have a little bit more practice and experience and knowledge to work with. But very comprehensive list of the frontline staff so that as we go about our work, we're doing better. I think we had previously been hearing concerns about encounters with families and community in our buildings, and wanting to be sure that on our staff's end, that we are constantly seeking improvement and opportunity to provide training. So all the people, looks like this, it's a spreadsheet. The
Where was it?
your consent agenda, in front of the consent agenda is the enrollment, and in front of it is the list of staff.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty fair list of folks who have opportunity to run into parents and community and family on a more regular basis. Now it's up to Jerry and I as development principals to work with those folks and make sure that we're hitting all of our marks and now in matching up the training that we've had. Report section, like any questions?
Any questions for John?
I'm good.
Thank you. Consent agenda. Everybody had a chance to look at that? And I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Age break.
When I acknowledge the items.
We have trouble reading it. Okay.
Usually you do, you're all excited. Usually you're.
But you know, I'm just usually becoming quiet man, it's kind of right home. Okay, since Gary brought it up, I'd just point out to the Boosters, Reedsport Boosters Association does a great dinner and auction every year. And if you're looking at $4,762 for the on-screen, one-screen interactive display and TV cart for the sports and athletic room, the $3,327 for junior high girls and boys basketball uniforms, $658 for the lockers for the wrestling room, and the new wireless mic package for the Ruby Field and Thompson Court. That's where that kind of money got over.
Thank you, boosters.
There.
It's huge.
I'd entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
There was one more.
There's one more.
Donation of a television.
Oh, yeah, Terry Zubek donated TV for the IT department.
You carry it.
Pardon?
Just to say thank you. You carry it. I made a motion to accept the consent agenda as
Susan?
presented. Thank you.
Motion made by Von Weaver, seconded by Jack Daly. All in favor, raise your left hand, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Action items.
This was the policy left out last month, policy BJC bidding requirements. There are some updates that we need to include, so by deleting policy, we need to adopt all policy to replace it. Those are the materials presented in the packet. Do you have any questions about those items? Otherwise, you could move to act. Notice.
Did we get a new update for the DJCAR?
Yep.
I looked in my old packet, I just looked through this new packet, I
It
didn't.
went from 24 pages down to 6, a lot of consolidation. And cleanup where excess existed. So once more.
We're ready to take action on action item B, DJCAR. I did entertain the motion. Extend the other.
Second motion to accept J's food line and DJC. As written.
You want to make that motion?
Or you did.
No, I can't. You. that's what I was looking to do.
Make a motion that we accept DJCAR as written.
For a second?
Second.
Motion moved by Bob, second by Jack to accept the DJC bidding requirements. All in favor, raise your left hand, say aye.
I,
That's unanimous, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I clarify, you're deleting the old by accepting the new?
Yes, sir.
And I think it's maybe a quick action to verify that you're deleting the old policy.
We will make that.
I make a motion that we are deleting the old, DJCAR policy and accepting the new,
Second.
DJC and DJCAR.
DJC and DJCAR. Yes, thank you.
Been moved by Bonnie, seconded by Jack. All in favor, raise your left hand and say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, community listening session starting Wednesday, December 4th. Staff, students and parents. That's gonna be a long day.
So starting out at Highland Elementary School, the opportunity to listen in on those proposed policies we're wanting to review with your 6th and 5th graders at Highland. Moving to the high school in the afternoon to have a parent listening session, followed by a student body listening session in the Pacific Auditorium, and then follow up that evening with the Certified Association and the Classified Association. Notice the location differences, so those are at the same time. You would not be able to be at both at the same time. And then another parent listening session in the evening for those who could not make it earlier. These will be work sessions, so we don't need to worry about a quorum showing up, but work will be for you to listen. So we'll advertise those work sessions. All 5 of you could attend. Obviously, it's 4 o'clock, you would split up if you're doing so.
You know where in Highlands these will be?
Those classrooms, would be one teacher or the other, the students will just be brought together. It'll be because of me, but.
6th grade classroom, 5th grade classroom.
So is it just the students then with their teachers?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not
Sixth grade.
parents. The parents will
No.
break out into the, okay,
Just the 6th grade students, 20 minutes,
gotcha.
just with the 5th grade students.
And they're being instructed and to come with questions and
They'll
have a
be present.
conversation.
Mhm.
Okay.
Any questions?
Supposed to be.
Will it behoove us to sign up for the listening sessions at the high school, or can you show up and be okay?
It's always nice for Charlene to know what to anticipate, so she knows which board member she's preparing for to support, and she'll be there to take your notes. Obviously, you won't have administrators there, So you'll be working with the board secretary in that, so you can let her know which sessions, if, or all sessions you'll be attending.
Are we facilitating them then?
Yeah,
If the administration is not gonna get house, Mrs. Watts gonna supply cookies at the 6th and 5th grade class.
Drive by cookie drop?
I'll have to keep imagining on that one.
Okay.
But these listening sessions, we had administrators sitting in the room, we'd be concerned about bias, I believe, so by not being there, the board gets to truly hear from those audiences.
And
So
this is to let parents know what's going on.
the parent listening session is at 1 to 2:30 and 5:30 to 7 o'clock. There's two different ones, depending on their availability, they can choose either or.
Heck, you don't have to wait to get to a classroom to hear from the
Use that
parents.
bundle of straws.
You have to work.
I have an appointment during the downtime, so I could be there for,
I can do it too.
I was planning on doing 2 mornings. Well, we can schedule that, but it's okay. We should have more than one person. And we can have numerous board members, because if we schedule it as a work session, then
Yeah, all 5 of you can go to every single session except for the 4 o'clock, when you would split up.
Okay, any questions for John?
To help Sharman out, if you would let her know by December 1, so she can do any planning she needs to do. What your attendance would be at those days, on that day.
Okay, any more community comments up there on the screen, John?
That's right.
Board member comments? Bob?
do we want to discuss the or evaluation review?
Discussion B.
What did I forget?
B.
Oh. No, I wanna read it. Pardon?
That is in there because Bonnie and the rest of the board had suggested that we start his evaluation earlier in the year. So that is a question for the board. Do you want to have a work session to cover the first quarter of his evaluation? Or do you want to wait?
Well, I was gonna suggest maybe December 11th before the regular board meeting.
That would work, yes.
Okay. Okay, Jack Daly, any board comments?
Nope.
Mr. Moore,
No.
are you on?
Yes.
Any board comments?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll send some reading material home with everyone, but, I know that the Pride Caucus has been working for 2 years, diligently sort of meeting and working to, establish a caucus where, they can work to provide security and safety for some of our students who often don't feel safe or secure. And I'm just gonna provide a few statistics and facts from the Trevor Project. The trevorproject.org is a great place to get resources. They do a national survey on mental health of LGBTQ young people. And just a few of the things that they outline, LGBTQ young people are more than 4 times as likely to attempt suicide as their peers. The Trevor Project estimates that more than 1 million LGBTQ plus young people ages 13 to 24 seriously consider suicide each year in the United States, and at least 1 attempts suicide every 45 seconds. The Trevor Project's 2023 U.S. national survey on the mental health of LGBTQ young people found that 41% of LGBTQ young people seriously considered attempting suicide in the past year. Roughly half of transgender and non-binary youth. Physical harm and bullying. The Trevor Project's research has also found that 52% of LGBTQ youth who were enrolled in middle school or high school reported being bullied either in person or electronically in the past year. And those who were bullied had 3 times greater odds of attempting suicide in the past year. The impacts of social support and acceptance from adults and peers can make a difference in people's lives. Those young people with at least one accepting adult in their life report significantly lower rates of attempted suicide. Those young people who live in a community that is accepting of them reported much lower rates of attempted suicide than those who do not. So when we talk about safety, we're talking about lives, and I know that we have those kids in our community, and I hope that maybe the OSBA's Pride Caucus can help support them in ways that maybe we may not be able to appreciate in our lives, but certainly I think that those kids are out there and they deserve our support. So as we're thinking about a vote, I would certainly give them the consideration that we would want in support for the rural caucus or any caucus that works to work in a segment of our population that may need additional support. That is all.
Okay. Talking to John earlier, Larry's son and daughter in town, and we should be hearing about a service for him real soon. I just can't convey or share with you how much pride that guy had to be a band teacher. I mean, he was easily frustrated, and you'd have to drag him off to the side and say, take a deep breath, it'll be okay. You know, but I mean, his enthusiasm was far, I mean, above and beyond reproach, so.
You know, I talking about that, he was the drummer in Wild Horse Theater.
Yeah,
They played at the Row. They were the best in the country.
yeah,
They were really good at what they did. And that had been reflected upon our kids.
I have to say those buckets were pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah, he was a great guy, great teacher.
with the weather coming up and holidays right around the corner, please, everyone be careful. Yeah, we're, winter sports is starting. Yay for wrestling. So, we have a very enthusiastic wrestling coach. Good job on hiring him. Hopefully we'll be able to get him situated and get his wife bought into the program where we can have him back up again, so. Yeah, it's costing me a lot of chocolate chip cookies from Dawn's, but it'll be worth it.
You did say Matt, right?
Matt, yeah. Little kids wrestling. Okay, future agenda is November 25th through the 29th, Thanksgiving break. Hail to the turkeys. December 4th, all-day listening sessions begin. December 11th is a regular board meeting. It starts at 5:30 PM. December 18th, 6 PM, South Coast ESD Legislative Forum.
Mr. Jones,
Yes, sir.
this document, very last page, your packet talks about that legislative forum.
Did they move it?
That's the date they've got. It says Senator Dick Anderson, Senator David Brock Smith, Representative Boomer Wright, Representative Court Boyce.
They had them as the 9th.
I think I remember that, so this is probably a switch. We do need to confirm attendance by the 13th. So if you read through that, it'll indicate who's there. If you want the carpool down, you can arrange that.
Fort Boy's got a really.
I just have a quick question. Does anybody know when the OSBA, conferences, the November conference, what those dates are.
That's easy.
Oh, eight last
Last
week,
week,
okay.
yeah.
So just as a note to the community, I think our board decided not to go saving the district thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, the district or the OSBA conferences are a wealth of information. And always a really good thing to attend as board members, but we just decided this year that it was cost prohibitive for our district and that we would make an effort to stay home and save some money.
Any other additions, questions, concerns from the board? Ladies and gentlemen, have a safe drive home. Thank you for coming.